Okay, so I'm only 4 minutes late because I threw my camera or my phone stand in the floor and had to reconnect, and it was a mess. It was good stuff, good stuff. All right, so we are here today to talk about step 3 of the Hello Summer beach bag. And this is where you get to really make this design your own. So we can do a plain mesh like this itty bitty guy right here, right? And so this is just an open mesh filet crochet. We can do a pattern stitch right here. So this is filling in every other block, right? In an alternating 2-row repeat pattern, and that is option 1. Yep, so this is option 1. Okay, and it'll give you a pattern like this. I'm trying to hide the handles from you. Oh, Marianne, hi! Hello! Thank you for joining me. Okay, so this is option 1 for the body of the bag with just a geometric pattern. And here is this is option 2. Okay, and that's just a simple mesh pattern. And then, of course, option 3 is where we add in the words. And so this is the Hello Summer side. You can kind of see it. Is that backwards? So this is the Hello Summer bag of the size 4, or size 4. And then let me flip those over and I'll show you the other side. Okay, and then the side says beach, please. So that is the body of the bag. You've got lots of options. And then, of course, you can also customize it however you want. I've got in the appendix file blank charts. So let me see if I can share my screen with you and show you this appendix file. That one, and open that one. So bear with me just a second. Share screen. Just my desktop. Maybe. I don't think it's working. Why didn't it work? What, this one? It won't let me do it. Oh, bummer. Okay, well, that's what I get for not printing it out. Okay, well, here is one of the printouts from the appendix file, and this is the one that I'm going to use for my size 3 sample. So this is my little burrito beach bag burrito, right? I've got my 2 skeins of yarn in here that I'm working with, and this is to the end of step 2, right? Okay, so then I'm going to add on the words following this chart. So let me, I'm so frustrated that share screen didn't work. Let me flip over to my close-up camera. Spin, should do it. Okay, so here is my chart, and I don't have a pen. I thought I did. It must have went flying with my phone stand. Okay, so let me bring this a little bit closer up. All right, and so these little gray squares here for the letters, these are the filet crochet stitches that you would fill in. So all of these right here, this would be like the green mesh bag. Okay, so it's just a double crochet, a chain 2, and a double crochet. Make that little open square. And then for these filled in squares, you double crochet and a double crochet. You make 2 double crochets in the space, the chain 2 space below it, or you would double crochet on top of the double crochet for these stitches here, right, going up. And so each block is essentially 4 stitches, but they share a stitch on each side. If that makes sense. So let me grab this one. we're going to not tangle up the yarn, first of all. So I'm going to show you real quick how we get started with this. So you can either do a chain 3 or a standing double crochet, not standing double, chainless double crochet. So let me see, let me scoot this just a second so I can see a little bit better. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can either do a chain 3 to give you the height, or you can pull up your loop and do what I call a chainless double crochet. And I do have a separate video for this available if it's too hard to see here. So I'll link to that in the resources in the blog post. All right, so do you see how I just wrap that loop around my hook? So I wrap it around my hook to create, focus please, thank you, to create the yarn over. And then I insert it into the same stitch that I joined. I yarn over and I pull up a loop, and see how I'm holding on to it? That's because if you don't, it'll unravel. And then you yarn over and pull through 2, and you yarn over and pull through 2. And so that creates your chainless double crochet. You can also do stacked single crochets. You can do, there are other modifications. This is just the one that I like the best. Okay. And then we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip 2, so 1, 2, and double crochet in the next one. And that is our first little square, right? That's our first filet crochet square. And so that's all you're doing for this section, is you're either chaining 2 and skipping 2 and double crocheting in the next one, or you're filling in a square by doing 2 double crochets instead of skipping those 2 stitches. And then you would do 1 more double crochet on the outside. And so this would create a filled in square, right? So going back to the chart. So we start over here, right? And it's at the edge of a corner is what it is, right? So it's just, so here's our corner right here. And our first stitch is just to the right of that. Or if you're a left-handed crocheter, it would be just to the left. So this is actually the corner of the bag. So this is just 1 square over is where you start. And so for the first part, for the first round, it's just a row of mesh. So it's double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. So all those blank squares, that's your first round. For the next round, if you want to go into the pattern stitch like this, so this is the pattern stitch, right? And you can see here, this is the group of 4 double crochets to make a filled in square. And then this is the chain 2, skip 2, okay? And so for the option 1 version, like this bag is made, that's all you're going to do. You're going to alternate these stitches around. And I did do, so if you look here, so we've got the first row right here is all open, and then the next 3 rows we alternate. So 1, 2, 3, looks kind of like a little flower there. And then we have another open row. That's right here. That's row around 17. And then we have a solid row before we move into our pattern. Oh, and then we have another open row before we move into our pattern. So on the Hello Summer, I followed this, and you can print this bigger from the Excel file. And it's easier to print bigger than perhaps from the appendix file. So make sure that you follow that. If you've ever used Google Docs, then, oops, no, don't mute me. Stop that. If you've ever used Google Docs, then I've got a link in a couple places in the pattern as well as in the, I think it's in the, it may not be in the appendix file. I can't see it there right there. But you can follow that to Google Docs, and it'll be an Excel file, and you can go in and you can modify. So if you want to create your own pattern, of course, you can print out the blank template from the appendix file and then just fill it in by hand. or you can use the Excel sheet and do, I think it's a highlight to fill in the block with color. And then you can print it out from there, or you can use it on whatever device you like to use. So that's really all there is to it. We've got these little blocks, and I can show you the letters a little bit closer too. Let me switch back over. Here we go. So here are our letters. And when you look at them close up, it's pretty hard to see them. So here's an E, right? Yeah, here's an E. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks along the bottom, and they're all filled in. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stitches. So it's a multiple of 3 plus 1 if you're kind of planning something out. And then these stack up, and it's just filled in squares. And they're not quite square, they're rectangular, right? Now, if you wanted to make them more square, what you could do is an extended double crochet. Marianne, have you ever heard of an extended double crochet? Okay, hold on just a second and I'll show you that. Let me move this. So if you want, where'd my crochet hook go? If you want your stitches to be a little bit taller so that it's less rectangular, instead of doing the standard double crochet, what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then essentially chain 1. So you chain 1, and then you do your double crochet. And so this makes your stitch just a tiny bit taller. Let me show you again. So you yarn over, you insert your hook, yarn over, yarn over, pull up a loop, chain 1. Okay, so you yarn over and pull through just 1, and then you yarn over and pull through 2 twice. And that's called an extended double crochet. And it doesn't look much different, but you can see that it's just a little bit taller. So that is an option. It's one more step in your stitches, of course, but it's it would give you more squares, so to speak. So you could substitute that so some people have naturally taller stitches. I don't. My stitches are usually fairly you don't either. So you can do that, but I found that I didn't mind the way it looked in the slightly squished rectangles. So let me see here. Let me skip ahead. Where's my other one? So this is my green bag. Here, this guy, right? So I had about half a skein of green left over, and I decided to see how far I could go with just the mesh. I think it was actually like 0.4 skeins. So it was less than that. So if you had a full skein of your second color, you could definitely do, I mean, it would be about twice this tall if you just did plain mesh. So you could absolutely do the size 1 bag with just 2 skeins if you wanted to. But I wanted to show you real quick. So this is where I ran out of yarn. Let me switch back over. All right, so this is where I ran out of yarn. And so I'm ready to join this on, and I'm going to show you my invisible join again. I think I did it last time too, but it's a handy trick to use. All right, so you can, of course, join with a slip stitch here. But to do an invisible join, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the top of this stitch here. So this is my first stitch of the round. This is where I would normally join to. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to duplicate the top of this stitch. So I'm going to take that out and try to focus it. And then I'm going to insert my needle under the top 2 loops of the second stitch. And I'm going to just kind of snug that yarn up. Go back to focus, thank you. And I'm going to duplicate the top of that stitch, right? By inserting my needle into the center of that last stitch. And I kind of go down on the back side. And then I just snug it up until it is about the same as everything else. And then I better put a stitch marker back in there, or I will forget where that is. And then I can flip it over on the back side, and I like to do Gosh, it's so hard to do this looking through the screen. I like to do a teeny tiny knot by splitting my yarn here. Nope, can't see it. There, just a little bit. I can't see, hold on. All right, there we go. And then I can take this and just bring it down here so that I can sew it in later. And that is the invisible join. And so it eliminates that slip stitch and makes it almost impossible for you to figure out where the end of your round is, which for me as a designer, I like that seamless look. But as far as practicality goes, no, it's not any more functional necessarily than a slip stitch would be. Okay, so to join on our next color, which was actually the end of step 2, it's the same thing as before. Awesome, Marianne. I'm really glad to hear that you're learning new things here with me. That's great. All right, so here's our stitch, and I'm going to join with a standing single crochet. So slip knot on the hook, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop into that marked first stitch, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so that's my standing single crochet join. And for this next round, no, this is the last round of this step. Sorry, I misspoke. So step 3, this is the last round of step 3 because we've skipped ahead. We've done the body, right? So I finished off, that would be round 54. Okay, and then we're joined C1 back on in round 51, 55. Boy, I can't talk today. And then it's just 2 rounds of single crochet all the way around. Okay, and then we're going to go back to working in a spiral for the handles in the last step. So that is the end of step 3. Like I said, it's just 2 rounds. I'm trying to switch back over. All right, there we go. Marianne, do you have any questions about anything since you're here with me live?
I'd like to see that first. I guess it was the first double crochet you did right at the very beginning.
Yeah. So that was this guy over here. All right, hold on. Let me switch back. So the chainless double crochet?
Yeah. That's okay. The one.
All right, let me pop back over. And I'm going to pull this out.
And when would you use that? Can you use that in place of anytime you do a double crochet, or you're just going to do it at the first one?
So it's only going to be at the first part of the round because what it is, it's replacing your chain 3. So typically you do a chain 3 to give you the height. You can't see me very well. To give you the height of the round, right? So we would chain 3, and then we would have to chain 2, right? And at the end of this round, we would join to that 3rd chain.
Right. Gotcha.
So by doing the chainless double crochet, it looks more like a double crochet because it essentially is, and it gives you a more substantial place to join onto instead of trying to count and find that correct chain stitch. So all you do is you pull up a loop that's about the height of a double crochet, sometimes a little bit longer. And then I like to hold on to the top of the loop with my finger here. And then you wrap it. I'm just trying not to bump my camera here. You wrap it around your hook. So this is your yarn over, right?
Gotcha.
You're making that loop be your yarn over. Then you yarn over. Wait a second. Insert your hook into the stitch first, then yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay. And so now you can yarn over and pull through 2. And you have to keep holding on to it, and then yarn over and pull through 2. And then you can mark this right here as the top 2 loops, almost exactly like a regular double crochet, right? Gotcha. And that's where you would join instead of joining into that 3rd chain.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Anything else?
No, I'm still on. I've got 2 more rows on part 1.
Yeah, Look, it's a lot of work. The bottom of these bags, it's single crochet. It's just all single crochets. It takes a while. It took me 4 hours just to do the flat bottom of my size 4 bag. 4 hours.
I believe
a lot of work. It is, but it creates a really good, strong bag. Like I think at the beginning, I don't know if you saw that when I pulled out my original market bag, that's the solid single crochet bottom. And that thing has been beat up and well used for over 10 years now. And I did drag the bottom of it out once, but I sewed it up and it's still going strong. So I'm a firm believer in the solid single crochet bottoms of these bags. I absolutely am. So yeah, if you can just get through that part, then the filet crochet part feels pretty easy afterwards.
Yeah.
Although I'm going to warn you, we're going to go back to the single crochet for the handles.
For the top, yeah. Also needs to be sturdy.
What? Oh yes, they do. I mean, and that's another thing with. So I'll preview it a little bit. I guess the handles are integrated so that they're worked in the rounds, kind of adding to the side of the bag at the same time as you're working the handles. And so that makes it a lot stronger too. Instead of just sewing it on, like doing the strap and sewing it on, because that's a weak point that's going to come undone. So doing these integrated handles in the round makes it a lot stronger.
I can't wait.
Good. Okay, well, if you think of anything else that you've got a question about, just holler. Thank you for joining me live. It's fun to actually see people. This is the advantage of doing it through Zoom instead of just
I tried last week, got all showered, changed, ready to go.
Yeah.
And the cable went down.
Oh, no. Yeah,
and it went down for the rest of the day. So I was stuck.
Wow. Yeah. And then I mucked it up and the recording didn't actually, like the live stream recording didn't have the back and forth.
But the other one was fine.
That one had me like, oh no, what did I do wrong for a little bit? But the Zoom recording has it. So that'll be there. And then, I've got to figure out why I couldn't do the screen share though. So I don't know why it wouldn't let me do that. I got to figure that one out, but were you able to access the appendix file?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I've got everything. I can't wait. This is fun.
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
This pattern has so much potential because the different sizes are great for like little market bags. And so I can see gifty opportunities in the future too. I guess New Jersey just got rid of all their plastic bags in the stores. So like you have to have a bag.
Yeah. We're in California right now.
There.
And oh no, I pulled that out. I need that marked. We're in California and they still have plastic bags, but they're thicker. They're supposed to be reusable and they charge you 10 cents. So for each one. But yeah, this guy is probably going to be like a fruit bag.
That's perfect for that. I saw that size and I went, must make some of those.
Yeah. And so I think that'll be really nice. And like I said, this is less than half a skein of the second color. And then I think I'm going to be good with the full skein for the bottom and the handles. And then of course you could make the handles shorter if you just wanted like a little bag, a fruit bag, or you could do one handle long and one handle short and feed it through the shorter one.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. So I tried to put out a lot of options so that you can really take it and make it what you need to with this. So
well, I bought enough yarn to make at least 3 of them. So.
Oh, awesome. Well, I can't wait to see them.
It's what I do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me check.
I'll see you next week, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do another one next Friday to talk about the handles. And I'll either demo that. I might pre-record a video for that, but I'm going to have to figure out the screen share if I'm going to do that. How did this work for you with the close-up camera?
That worked great. I could see everything just fine.
Okay, good deal. I'm never sure about the video quality, especially out here. Our internet is not great out here, Fort Irwin, but
It was good. Well, Williamsburg, our internet is not good either. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to let you go. Next time you're in Yarn Matters, tell Marina I said hi.
I sure will.
All right. Thanks, Marianne. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.